Welcome to Wondering Broadcast News. I'm your host, Allison. It's been a long time since the Israelites have had good news, but we at Wondering have found something to build your excitement. Grant, before we break this news story, can you recap what has been happening?
You bet, Allison. Our viewers will probably remember the names of the people that God made his unbreakable promises to. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob is the man who had 12 sons. One of those sons was named Joseph. Joseph was the one who was sold by his own brothers to be a slave in Egypt. However, God was with him and helped him rise to a position of great power. He was able to save the lives of many people, including his brothers and his father, Jacob. Then Jacob and all of his descendants moved to Egypt. They became known as the Hebrew people, also called Israel. Allison, you have the news on what happened next?
I sure do, Grant. At first, Jacob's family was happy in Egypt. They were able to care for their flocks and have more and more children. After many years, Egypt had a new Pharaoh who was afraid of the Israelites because there were so many of them. Pharaoh feared that the Israelites would take over Egypt. So he instituted a terrible program of slavery. The Hebrews were treated very badly and were forced to do hard work. But then things got worse than anyone could have imagined. Pharaoh ordered that every Hebrew baby boy must be killed. Grant, tell us about one special family and what they did.
There was one Hebrew couple who gave birth to a baby boy. Despite the danger, they hid him for the first 3 months of his life. But this was harder to do as the baby grew older. The mother decided she would make a basket that could both float on water and hold the baby. She set the basket and the baby in the tall grasses along the Nile River.
We just heard that Riley has found the baby's older sister, who apparently saw what happened next. Let's go to Riley and get the scoop. Riley, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Allison. You're right here with Riley, and we have found the baby's older sister. Please tell us more about what happened after your mom put the baby into the river.
I wanted to see what would happen. Really, I wanted to see what God would do with my baby brother. So I watched from a safe distance. His basket floated in the river near the place where Pharaoh's own daughter had come to take a bath. I was unsure what was going to happen, but then one of her servants picked up the basket and brought it directly to her. She opened the basket and looked right at him.
Pharaoh's daughter had your little brother in her reach? Oh no! She could see right away that he was a Hebrew baby, and she knew that he was supposed to be killed.
But that's when something completely unexpected happened. As my little baby brother started crying, she looked at him sweetly. She felt sorry for him. Instead of killing him, she started asking if anyone could help feed him.
Wow! Who else in Egypt could have disobeyed Pharaoh's order without being in big trouble? It was a good thing that Pharaoh's daughter found him.
Exactly. That's when I did something brave. I went over Pharaoh's daughter and her servants and asked if they would like me to find a Hebrew woman who could take care of the baby. Of course, I didn't tell him he was my baby brother.
Did she let you get someone?
Yes. So I ran home and got my mom.
You mean the baby's own mother was the one who got to take care of him?
Yes! Not only was my baby brother protected by her orders, but she also paid my mom to take care of him.
How amazing! You heard it here. Pharaoh's daughter saves Hebrew baby boy and pays the mother to take care of him. Allison, back to you.
I have the record here. Pharaoh's daughter named him Moses, which means pulled out. She named him that because she pulled him out of the river water.
Moses' mother took care of him until he was old enough to live in Pharaoh's palace. That's right, a Hebrew boy who was supposed to be killed ended up growing up in Pharaoh's own household. Years later, the Hebrew people would cry out to God for help, and God would call Moses to lead them out of slavery in Egypt. Allison, this is such a wonderful story, but there's a deeper truth that we can't take for granted.
Yes, Grant. God cares about his people and rescued Moses as a baby because God knew who Moses would grow up to become. The WIBN team is happy to share with you the truth that, just when they need it most, God sends help to his people. That's all for today's segment of WIBN, but remember, stay curious and filled with wonder.